playoffs, and they earned themselves some nice little bits of extra cash. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. They've done really well so far. But right now, we'll see how the knife goes, and we'll kind of take it from there, you know, take it slow and see what kind of opportunities Nexus might be able to create for themselves. But once again, temper your expectations. Be realistic, you know, and also don't shoot the messenger, you know. Nexus fans, please. No hard feelings. I'm just being realistic. After all, as a caster, we are unbiased. We let it go to the best. And Nexus, see, they are good in their knife rounds. Once again, clean. Yeah, clean. See, so...
But like yesterday against Hellraisers, Hellraisers won 3 out of 3 knife rounds.
Well, not
so
today.
So it's a turnaround. Nexus just, instead of scrimming, they just did knife sim.
Ooh, maybe that was it. Yeah, they, like, I wonder if there's probably some custom DM servers out there for just knife rounds, right?
No.
Or well, for just knifing.
No.
No?
Who in the world would just go knifing all day long?
Not for long, but I bet there's a niche community.
There might be a single one, yes.
Yeah, Counter-Strike is a big game, you know. I'm sure that there's a custom, like, I'm willing to, like...
Oh, maybe there's a hide-and-seek thing or something.
Or that, yeah.
Nice.
I'm willing, you know, I'd be willing to bet on that there's some sort of knife.
Well, when we get home, we might look it up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's Vertigo now soon to get underway with, of course, Nexus starting on that CT side. They were able to choose once more. Last time around, however, they weren't able to win the pistol, as now Ine gets the first one on towards the line. He will be tagged up, he will be flashed as well, but he's playing Ring Around the Rosie with the T player on the other side. Zello takes a frag, but it will be Seminta going down to problem. He will be refragged, there will be pressure on towards mid. It's going to be JR solo against the 2 players of Nexus, trying to peek out. Zello will go down, but Ime at the right time, just before JR is able to fall back. We'll get that kill in, we'll get the round, and we'll start it off properly for Nexus this time.
Yeah, that's a solid start for Nexus, and let's hope that they can actually transfer this. You know, there's a good, you know, well, a good chance that maybe this will be their moment, their opportunity to really just shine through and prove us wrong. I'd like to be proven wrong. I'd like to see that Nexus actually does show up here and that they do actually win. You know, Hellraisers their map pick. Do the old switcheroo, right? Just go for the win each other's map pick.
Well, the Deagles are coming in. JR is trying to tap around. But so far, no real damage being done apart from a decent chunk on towards Sevinte. Ryga standing close by at the usual spot. You see players go rather aggressive. As it's going to be Hellraisers actually pushed away from that A area. That means they now have to maybe expend some utility, which they don't have, to regain A control. And that means now Nexus is standing by with the MP9s. BTN, also known as Father B himself, standing close with an MP9 crossfire, and Hellraisers wants to challenge it. And that is quite dangerous. As we do see Ryga the first kill, it's going to be BTN with a follow-up as well. But 2 kills coming in for the side of Hellraisers. That's decent. Decent damage being dealt. Now the MP9 to be picked up by JR as well. Yet on range, of course, he would still favor that Deagle, as that is a one-shot wonder.
A one-shot wonder. Jawohl. Richtig.
Wunderbar.
I do wonder, you know, but at least we should have definitely upped our German skills by the end of this production, right? Spending 2 weeks in Hamburg.
You might, I won't.
Aww.
Because my brain...
I was forced to speak German on the telephone today. You know, I asked, do you speak English? But no, nur Deutsch. That forces you to learn, at least. Seminse here also learns that Kalinka was on that side. And that's a glorious 1D. Very well done by JR. Goes for the second, but the third is not quite there. You'd have loved to see it, you know. As much as you might be cheering on for Nexus, that would have been also, whilst also delightful, also quite disgusting. You know, just the boop, 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 the triple kill with 3 shots. But there was a nice attempt there by JR. We can see it here again. First one.
Baby, a triple, you dare to say, for JR, and this was a beauty.
Boop.
Tried to pre-fire on towards Cello. He did get a tag, but he didn't account for the player, of course, coming from a slightly higher ground. Meaning he just hit him in the center miles, which, of course, deals damage, but it's not a lethal shot unless if he gets tagged.
You know, having the high ground, right? They say
it's over. I have the high ground.
Yes, indeed. Now, things look to maybe be over not so far for Nexus. They start off well. Problem now, though, he's opened up this site well. That was a lovely...
Look at the flank.
Oh, dear. Oh, I may. Is he going to come in clutch? Is he going to deny Hellraisers their bomb plant? No, because they've just checked this angle. They know he's there. Oh, that's the flank denied. Seminse, he tries, but he doesn't succeed as he gets fragged out by Lime. And now Aime, I assume, will go for the save here. MP9 in his hands and a bit of armor as well. He's also got perfect armor condition. Well, I like this angle. This next to the well, what do you call those things? A Dixie?
Dixie, at least as far as we know, but mobile toilet homes.
I suppose,
because
yes.
you can live in there, you can go to the toilet in there. It's just whatever you want.
Basically, point being next to that thing, you know.
Oh, yeah,
Like, he could actually get a good frag here. You know, if someone comes around the corner, he's at that headshot angle. Could definitely get something in there, but doesn't look like they'll be exiting around that side, I believe. Just going for the relatively close to the bomb site save. Preserving those 4 weapons. Lime with that M4A1S on the T side, which is always interesting, but I assume that there wasn't anything else left for him to pick up.
Hey, it's better than a Mach 10.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's better than the Galil. Yet, well, he might not really prefer it. Interesting to see they started this run with 5 AK, so I think it's just a preferred pick to come in.
And
that's rather interesting.
Yeah.
But maybe he picked it up because he threw away his AK just from the map, so that the next side couldn't pick up his rifle, and then he was like, oh, well, I'll have to stick with this M4 now.
Surprise. I still can't believe that you didn't know that song. I'm going to let you hear that when we're back on the car, you know?
That's sure.
Return of the
Road
Mac.
trip, baby.
Yeah, it's a solid song. I think you'll enjoy it. At least I hope you like your 90s music. But that's a problem for later. Oh dear.
I'm joking. Possibly like Nexus.
Oh dear, that's have a drink of water. I'll take over.
I will. Thank you.
Hellraisers now, they've got that potential to turn this into the second round in the equalizer. You know, they have the equipment advantage. They've also have the utility advantage. But Raga here, that's a lovely deagle shot. Lime immediately tosses it right back into his face, though. 4v4 now, and you can see it here. This is a good angle. Aime doesn't end up getting the frag, though. Lime continues. Clearly happy to have that M41A1S in his hands and really knows how to work that thing as well. And now we look and see. BTN here, he tries, he does get the frag, but of course the re-peek is there from Lime, and that means that BTN does end up losing his life. Makes it a 3v2. I'd say that there's still an opportunity here. Saminsei perhaps with a lovely deagle kill, but he might not be expecting the Lime push here. I'd be surprised.
Well, the angle's being held by Zello on towards the long angle with a P50, not really the best weapon. But he's now also looking towards CT, scared of a possible flank. Taps to come out, Lime will go low, and there will be a turn from a player close by. Vinte with 1 frag makes it a double, leaving only JR alive, and he will be also taken down. Oh baby, a triple once more. And a third round for Nexus. I said something about possibly choking, just like me, but I took the choke for Nexus, and now they are actually in the lead.
You took one for the team, so to
definitely.
speak. Yeah, Nexus, they're actually performing admirably, I'd say, on the CT side so far. Might have been a bit overly negative. In the past, you said that result was 6-16, I believe. And with that, of course, now I'd say they've gotten off to a pretty good start. I don't see them posting such a low result this time round, unless, of course, Hellraisers does pull some sort of repeat and only grants Nexus 2 more rounds now on their CT side. They do have the weaponry for it, you know, they seem to really be content on continuing that buy, even if that means Lime has to make do with a deagle. But we'll see what they make out of it.
Deagles are strong. You just saw our good friend Saminsei do it.
Absolutely. I'm not saying they're bad, you know, and I think Lime is the right player to give that deagle. He tries, but he doesn't really end up tagging anybody, though. And now we'll see. Problem here, trying to go for that mid-control along with some teammates. And Kalinka in the meantime, this is an interesting boost, but it doesn't work. That's so sad.
He's trying.
Saminsei, he just
were so happy as well.
Yeah, that was like, it's just like, you can just imagine like a kitten getting on top of a couch finally, and just like someone being like, boop, and back to the ground. In this case, though, off a skyline, you know, right off vertigo. The good thing is that Problem can at least toss a frag right back. Might be a second one coming here, although he might not be looking the right way at the right time. And so it seems BTN gets the frag on him. Equalizes out the player count, 3v3 now. And that might not be too good. Flarich, though, he does toss it right back. And now we're seeing that 2v3 again. But at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if there's no knife opportunity.
He was looking
there.
if he could see the back to turn over to him, but he eventually knew that it wouldn't be possible, and most likely BTN in his ear saying, "Hey man, if you go for it, I will kick you from the team.
I will shoot you myself.
No, he's dead, so he's gonna kick him from the team. He's the IGL. He's the man with power.
Yes, Father B, of course, as he is also called. But a shame there that, well, it went as dramatically as it did. Right now, though, playing around the time, Hellraisers definitely doing that well. Saminsei not actually getting the chance to show up because Lime comes from the sideline. And with that, Hellraisers get their second round. Now we'll see if this is the start of something great for Hellraisers or if this is but a temporary setback for Nexus. Syria again, Aimee, he tries and he does quite a bout of damage, but it isn't going to be much more than that as Lion comes in with a bit of a surprise.
Well, so far Nexus is trying to squeeze out Lime for their cocktail, yet they first need to get some wins in before they can treat themselves to an alcoholic beverage. As it seems to be that 5-4 situation, with, of course, now the eco of Nexus not really going too well. Kalinka, eco fragger, getting the first one in. Now Lime actually under pressure and going moderately low, as he will eventually fall as well to BTM. They'll be hunting for the AK, trying to get at least something going for him, and a good shot on towards JR makes him rather low as well. There will be a player on towards the corner. JR will eventually peek as well. But Kalinka, in the meantime, has taken some B-side control. Danger, however, that yet another player falls on towards that Hellraiser side at Ime. 1D, juicy as can be, juicier than the Lime. And he just squeezed.
I think that we've already seen so many 1D so far, to be quite honest. Yeah, how many, like, have you been keeping count? I think we've already seen like 6 or something.
Just think YouTube. It's the only thing you have to
think
say if
highlight
you're
reel.
trying to go for the Deagle round. Players to be spotted out. He sees a little bit of a head to come out from BTN, and of course, Ame was low. I was just a little bit scared that might be the cleanest headshots I've seen today, but it was, of course, just a body shot to finish him off. 3-3, score now equalized, and look at the money from the side of Nexus. Yet another pistol armor.
Hey now, pistol arms aren't the end of the world. I mean, look at what they pulled here, right? With Deagles, it was close. It was a 2v2. So, not all hope is lost. Keep believing.
Don't stop believing as long as you just can hold on. As you do see, actually, Nexus now indeed going for pistols once more. Their economy not working out, not having that loss bonus to fall back upon. Of course, being the CV side is going to be rather expensive for themselves as well. Ime actually with the opening kill towards AR. That's a good start. As also players have been tagged up, but no problem with a spray down. Gets 2 in return. Now the 5-7 will reign supreme most likely, but Raga gets only 1 before Saminsei will fall. Zello falls back towards the side. He's like, I'm out of here. But the mid pressure has been taken, and that means that Flourish problem will be sending by. And the lead now goes in favor of Hellraisers. So far, sloppier than we've seen them play yesterday. But then again, yesterday on Vertigo, we saw Hellraisers start on their CT side, and they played it out clean as can be.
I think that might be the kind of the difference coming to show here. You know, that Hellraisers, their knife might not be on point today. As you said, of course, Nexus having won, well, every knife in this map so far. And when I go to look back, I do see that they, well, okay, no, they actually only won 1 in the previous match. Never mind. Point not being made. I was hoping, you know, that it would be a consistent knife rounds all across the line, but no. Maybe, though, if they do manage to pull this to a free mapper, they can prove themselves and show that they can get 3 knife rounds in 1 match.
Well, it would be the dream as Raga is standing by with his M4 in hand. He will soon be pressured. Usually a molly will go towards this position, but with a smoke on towards his scaffolding, that won't be really an option. There will be a molly going in just a little bit in front. And some damage he will go for yet another frag, and so he will get 1. Another flash comes in. JR going for it, but there's 3 players from that CT side. Raga will get yet another frag. A line will go down as well. And apart from Kalinka now fragging down Saminsei, it's been a clean round. 1 minute left on the clock, so many flashes popping, you can't see anything anymore. I dare to say, I wish I brought my sunglasses.
Or you can maybe borrow, you know, the sunglasses from one of the lovely fellows in the production. I did that when I was grabbing my my phone a bit earlier that I forgot on the desk.
To look cool.
Yeah, I wanted to look a bit incognito, you know, like try and pass it off as a cool move.
You could have, like, tried to do that classical comedic try of acting as if there's a staircase.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a good one, actually.
I'm not sure if you actually have that in you, but...
Well, now, bold of you to assume that I don't have that in me. I've got a bit of acting talent, you know. It's been ages since I've done it, but sure it's there.
Zello missing the shot on towards a player from Hellraisers, just a little bit sloppily jumping up. BTN, meanwhile, will take an opening frag on towards JR, and so far, he has been uncontested himself. Problem is that Zello will be cleaned up by Lime with the AK, headshot to come in. There will be a kill in return by Raga. It's going to be a trade pass in favor of Nexus so far, because we shouldn't get ahead of things. Two players at the yellow tarp might be a target for the side of Hellraiser, but as the smoke will dissipate, I'm not sure if they will be looking. Flares with the first frag now. Kalinka will go down. Flares, however, with the refrag on towards him, it brings it back to a 2-on-2, and that's what I said. There is a chance for that equalizer to come in, but Siminte from the flank of that A-ramp will get one frag and a second as well. They're not responding. 5-4, Nexus now in the lead, and oh baby, there's a chance.
This is a bit of a milestone for Nexus as well, has to be said, you know. If they can now move past this 5-round mark, they'd be getting onto the 6th, and with that, they could start working on beating up, or well, bringing up their advantage and, well, I'd say beating up Hellraisers on Vertigo, showing them that they can actually put down a better performance. You know, we've highlighted it in the past now. 6-16 was the result for Nexus the last time that they challenged Hellraisers on Vertigo. So if they can now make it to that 6th round, from there on out, everything they get is a more and more positive outlook for them to pull it to a 3rd map.
Tactical timeout coming in at this moment in time, and let's have a little bit of a look at this A side. It's beautiful. It's now serene, but more often than not, the most, or at least the brunt of the action, will go roughly around the position. Most utility will be expanded at an A ramp, just because the T side needs to get some control there, because otherwise the CT side will just be able to look through, and you know they will be able to push as well.
I feel like there's a real disparity there, actually. There's a serious A-side preference. I think maybe because, you know, the B stairs position.
You can't push as easily through B.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet you can always peek in towards A, because as a CT, you will be there earlier.
Yeah.
And then seeing no players, you'll be like, hello, is this the push brigade? Because we're moving in.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've noticed as well when I'm playing. You know, very often if I'm, for example, holding the B side, it's just very often that you'll hear like, yep, it's A, rotate, boom. It's just that B side. Poor B side doesn't get enough love, you know. Flarich, though, he does give a little bit of a love tap to BTN as he gets him in the frag. Raga immediately throws it right back, though. Play is equalized and damage heavily dealt to Hellraisers, who are right now, of course, also not on the best of buys. A sort of, well, pistol armor type dealy, you could say. It's an interesting buy. The result is not there just so far. Especially not as Siminte there gets Kalinka at the end with, I think, one of his last bullets in that spray down.
It's going to be Ime also falling back from that mid position, just at the moment that JR will push through with his deagle in hand. AK to be recovered by Lime as he throws in the volley on towards that side position. You see being held quite passively, but look at JR. He might be flanking in. And as Ime is looking the wrong way, this might be an opener. As JR not going for the knife, yet going for the frags. And if he moves past just a little bit, there will be a chance for the player to spot him out. Oh, he drops down, he goes back up, and he will be setting off towards JR's head, and then he understands. Raga knows, and Ime will have to fall back, he will, and JR, of course, having the bomb, will not be able to go for that plant. Lime now with 35 seconds left, moving in. AK in armor, yet half HP. So has to get some clean frags for himself. Jumps will be made. Noise will be made. Most likely by players who fade out some fire, and Ime will go down 1v1. The player is actually close, and Lime, of course, wouldn't expect that.
No.
Glitch this out. It's now a 6-4, and Nexus slowly gaining more and more of a lead.
No, they're actually doing very solid on their CT side so far. I can only imagine, though, the surprise here for,
it's so weird that you're suddenly walking on top of something.
Yeah, like, wait, there's not a scaffolding here. I'm sure that's something that Raga must have thought there for a moment. Like, huh, what's this blur? Oh, and he's dead. But sadly, even that frag couldn't really mean much, you know. Sadly, JR didn't get the chance to really push it through that much because I believe it was Ime there who was there pretty much immediately afterwards to refrag it. So, better luck next time, I'd say. Xello here, he's not having the luckiest days. He's getting his feet fried, and Siminte, in the meantime, gets fragged by Kalinka. That might be the start of this round that Hellraisers was looking for, and that makes it the 4v5.
Well, we're waiting for Hellraisers to try to put more pressure on towards the CT side. Lime setting by on towards A ramp, expecting a flash to come in by the time that actually Ime already has a frag on towards Kalinka. Usually a heavy frag on the side of Hellraisers. Now JR is the only player to do something in return. a 3-2-3 situation with 1 minute 10 left on the clock, and some big damage being dealt, and Imet expecting it to be a B take. So already rotating, leaving only Cello alive on towards the A side. And, well, if JR gets another clean hatch on towards him, which he will, it should be an easy plan as JR is getting some more pressure on towards the side. He has one flashbang to work with, as Raga is now expecting them to not hold that flank, and he can go for that little bit of a flank himself, as he almost drops from the ladder, which would, of course, make some noise. Now the smokes will come in. It's going to be Raga actually quite close. He will be expected, but still, problem will fall. It's going to be Raga low, him at half HP. He's going for the hero play through the smoke, trying to spray down the first player. He will get one. JR now in 1v2 situation. Clean headshot coming down from him as well. 7th round for Nexus. And we might go to a third map because Nexus so far is seeming quite strong.
Absolutely. Nexus are performing better than they have in the past. They've reached the 7th round now, and that is a positive outlook for them. That means that they really now have a good chance of bringing this home, so to speak. They can actually force out that third map, which is going to be, well, their only chance now, of course. If they lose this map, the match is done. The grand final win of Group C will go to Hellraisers. But so far, who knows, it could still go all sorts of ways.
Well, the good thing is that, of course, Nexus and Hellraisers both have already qualified for the playoffs. They're playing for some bonus money and, of course, seeding in towards that playoffs. It's going to be one player being run boosted closer towards a B position. Yet, no damage being dealt, just a little bit of a slowdown as Kalinka's being tagged up slowly but steadily towards 67 HP. He's still standing there, trying to fight his way around. He eventually has to fall back a little bit and let one of his teammates die. It's going to be JR falling to Ime. Once more, quite strong on the frags, and more often than not being the top fragger for his team. Ime now going for a second, will not spot the head of the player close by. Now he will. It's a beautiful bolt had to be taken out. A triple kill for Ime once more. Leaving only Flarich and Limer alive, and it's going to be hard for them to hold on, especially as Lime now goes down on towards Raga. And with Flarich trying to move up in a 1v4, of course he also knows that there's very little chance to have some success here.
I mean, he's pulled it off in the past, but Smente actually gets pushed out, but that's apparently all that Raga needs to finish out this round. Nexus now having achieved the 8th round, and with that also a guaranteed first half advantage. An important milestone for them to really work off now, going into that second half later on in this map. We see there again, by the way, that beautiful bald head popping over for a moment as IM gets flashed in, and boom! I do really like this because it just shows some solid spray transfer there coming in from IMA. And
also
just
teamwork.
Yeah.
Flashbang from Simintse.
Exactly. Just another really good highlight of, I guess, good skill on both players there. With that, thus, Nexus here. 8th round for them, and the way things are looking right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they now make it onto the double digits. I dare say there's been a tactical timeout called, in whose favor that might be. I would maybe also say Nexus, although at the same... Actually, no, I'd say Hellraisers at the same time.
They're onto an eco.
Yeah. That's interesting. I know that you're not a fan.
I hate it.
Yep, you want your tactical timeouts to be combined with your full buys, right?
Unless if you're going to call at least a very crazy start and you have a lot of utility towards your pistol armor, then I might understand. But you should have everything in place, and the big things you want to change around are usually easily changed around in towards a rifle better than in towards a pistol, where you can then have people say, well, I don't believe that it actually worked out. Ime getting a triple kill once more, spraying down one after another, leaving only Lime alive. And so far he's melting as he's taking a fight on towards BTN, and Father B will never lose. 9-4. Oh, that's a little bit of a cheeky tea back.
Yep, that's a bit of BM.
And I do like my tea in the evening.
Oh, really now?
Yes. Delightful.
With some honey though. Good for the throat, you know, that's I think
you're my honey, boo.
Oh, Jesus, I think I'm going to throw up. Good Lord, that's disgusting. Please never say that again.
Oh, sorry, I had to.
You're my dearest co-caster, but please, there are boundaries, my dear friend. Oh, good Lord. Nexus now. Let's see if they can turn this into their 10th round. It would be an excellent end of this first half for them, and who knows, maybe even the 11th eventually. Or just as much, Hellraisers could throw it right back. They could just need that CT round, or CT side even, to really come back on. but we'll have to see. Right now, it could be anyone's game, and it is looking mighty favorable for Nexus, although those Vi.GG odds are still quite favoring them as the match winner. Now, though, bomb control is in Semense's hand. I believe he threw a molly on there, at least I hope he did, preventing the bomb from being recovered quite immediately. Raga now goes for that engagement, AK in his hand, molly being thrown back at him, and Problem does shoot him down. Clean headshot, while Ime, in the meantime, can take out Kalinka.
At least as a trade, keeping the player lead in favor of Nexus. And so far, it seems like Hellraisers are still actually in a big struggle for themselves. JR now dropping down, back towards the T-spawn, where Ime is also holding an angle. And I'm not really sure if he would expect this angle. He might be expecting Ime to be in one of the toilets, but of course, Easter egg, if one player is in the toilets, there will be a red thing shown rather than a green one, as now Ime gets his second kill of the round, but will be blindsided by Flarage. That means it's going to be a 3-on-2. Still actually more doable now for the side of Hellraisers, because the less CT players there are, the harder it is to defend a bomb site, but they still have bomb control.
Yep.
And Semense is standing by with, of course, his M4 now, waiting for players to move in, and they don't have a flashbang. So they might go for a run boost around, and then they can flank Semense quite easily.
But look at the time. There's no time. There's no way. There's no way that bomb is ever going to get onto a site. Semense here is even getting a bit aggressive now, pushes ahead, and that's a bit of a throwaway, to be quite honest. That was uncalled for. There's no need to just go and run your life away like that. I understand his idea, you know, wanting to deal some economy damage, but I would rather preserve the weapon, I'd say. Although, to be fair, I think economy damage might actually be more worthwhile, because Nexus should have plenty of reserves to keep buying through, especially now, seeing as we're in the 15th round, also known as, a.k.a. the, well, last round of the first half.
Well, RJ, at halftime I will have yet another riddle for you to solve.
Oh boy, I can't wait. We'll see. Let's see, though, now if this halftime is going to end with a decisive 11 rounds for Nexus, or if Hellraisers is going to be able to take one back from them and at least start their CT side with a somewhat minor but still considerable deficit at the same time.
It's going to be utility flying towards that A ramp, BTN standing close by. Of course, holding an AK, stealing that earlier from those T-side players, yet of course they will come to hunt him as well. Lime taking revenge for that stealing greediness from BTN earlier. It's going to be Raga also falling in. That's over aggression coming down from Nexus. Still, of course, they have those double digits, so they will be quite happy. Already playing well so far in this half, and possibly now turning around from what we saw yesterday on towards Vertigo. We did see that 10-5 coming out from Hellraisers. Now it's Semense with the follow-up on towards Kalinka as well. A 2-on-4. This might be possibly a little bit of a comeback in towards the round, but as they then give up towards that A pressure, expecting Hellraisers to rotate once more, the bomb, of course, will go towards B. And that means that, well, the plant will be in. The round might be in as well, as a 2v4 is hard, despite JR being low.
Plant comes in now, and indeed, there we go. That's Semense out of the running, and now Xello is the last man standing. Well, he might be the last man standing, but he doesn't stand much of a chance. As Flarage fracks him out, and now we see Hellraisers. Well, they do take this last round back, but look also, you know, at the streak there. Nexus getting a whopping 7 rounds in a row. So strongly played by them. A really solid CT side, I'd say. And I wonder if Hellraisers are actually still going to be able to prove themselves on Vertigo, because right now I'm starting to doubt it, to be quite honest.
Well, of course, they had that knife going for them, and now finally also the pistol.
Yep.
But RJ, are you ready for the riddle?
Oh, tell me.
Which of these 10 players would you trust most with sending an emergency signal?
With sending an emergency signal? Problem because we have a problem? No, tell me.
Flarage. Because he can send a flare.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting late, isn't it? It's almost midnight. Yep, okay,
Oh,
that explains it.
You should have seen that one coming.
Yep.
Is it a good one? Or is it a bad one?
It's maybe, I think it gets into that territory. If it's so bad, it's good.
Nice.
I think that's, you know, that's kind of the goal. That
I would like to have a grade from 1 being very bad on towards 10 being very good from the Romanians in chat, because I do trust their opinion the most.
Okay.
If that riddle was any good or not. Well, we'll see what the side of Hellraisers can do on their CT side, as Nexus wants to get another pistol in their favor. If they would, quite easy to extend that lead and possibly to win the map as well. But Hellraisers is holding aggressive angles and biding their time to possibly have a cheeky peek on towards the players moving from that ramp. Shots will be put out, line will fall back as well as JR is there figuring they could have a fight at a later date, possibly with better angles as well.
And we'll see now. JR, he pushes ahead a little bit on ramp there. A little bit aggressive, but he does get one result out of it. Problem being that Siminse immediately throws it back, but Lime comes in, takes one frag, goes for the second, but doesn't succeed because BTN comes in from yellow top. That leaves it to Kalinka to defend the side, and that's a bit of a problem as we can see him going down as well. Only Flaric left. He's got a defuse kit, but he's also got pretty terrible odds because it's a 3v1, and it's not exactly the type of fight that you'd expect to win any time of the day.
And they've also cleared the B-bomb side, so that's going to be hard. There's a player standing by us, BTN. Of course, waiting for the player to move in. Knife, 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 knife.
There we go.
It's the second pistol already in towards this map for the side of Nexus, and, well, that means they're doing quite well. 11-5, and possibly they could destroy Hellraisers on their own map pick.
And that would, of course, be, well, quite admirable, I'd say. You know, imagine that they reverse this. Let's say it becomes a 16-6.
That camera angle's so sweet. Can just saw him be so hopeful for at least an exit frag or two, and then to be destroyed by the knife in his back. Money made by the side of course, Nexus, having that knife go on towards BTN. However, this full eco from Hellraisers will let them make first opening kill, a second as well now. As BTN will be taken out, AK to be recovered as well as the Mac-10. 3-on-3 situation, damage to be dealt by the player from downstairs, but Kalinka has moved around and takes out Siminte. Why are they not then grouping and going for that bomb plant? Well, it's because, of course, their bomb plant is not really able to come in as well. The bomb is still dropped. They will not recover it. Two players still left standing on towards the side of Nexus, and of course damage already being dealt on towards the Hellraiser side. And it could be that, well, Hellraisers will be able to bring this home as good as I bring my jokes.
Oh boy. Oh, you're a boomer. Oh boy, you've reached boomer level, Chalric.
Well, I do make dad jokes.
Oh wow. Well, okay, that's solid. You keep that up. You know, I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks.
Nexus now. Let's see if they can keep things up as well. JR, that's a good throw back, and in the end, the defuse is going to come in on time. There will probably be some weapon upgrades as well for Hellraisers, if I see it correctly, and indeed, you can see those weapons being tossed around a wee bit. And there we go. Very good riddle, man. Yes. Clearly, you know, the crowd favorite. That's all I can say.
Well, it's just because I do believe that Nexus will give their fans what they want. And so far, they're doing really, really well. 11-6. Of course, now, unfortunately, losing this round. Giving a little bit of favor back towards Hellraisers, but still, they won 2 pistols. They are still 5 rounds ahead. And what will they do in this round? Just eco. Because they know that on a full buy, they can most likely bring it back once more.
I mean, that is a solid chance for Nexus, and who knows, even now with these deals in hands, there can still be a lot of damage dealt with that. I really do believe that there's a solid chance there, you know? I mean, you just gotta keep believing for Nexus.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen next as we do wait for the first frag to come in. Damage being dealt on towards the players from Nexus. As the Romanians are standing by closely, but JR will have the first frag on towards Raga. A little bit of a cheeky boost coming down here as we're not seeing much happening. As we're going to wait for the real frags to start happening in favor of Hellraisers. The second one coming in from Kalinka, Mac-10 frag from long range. The BTN with the Deagle once more will get a double. And that is actually B-side control, but they don't have the bump. They've dropped it somewhere in the middle of the map, downstairs once more. Making it very hard for them to actually commit on towards what they have just gained. There will be a cleanup crew coming in from Hellraisers, and they will clean up aisle 2, meaning they now have a second round as well on towards their CT side. And so, it's going to be Nexus struggling, but now buying again. Having those AKs, having dealt some damage. So there is a chance that if they do string rounds together, they will be able to break the economy from Hellraisers quite easily. And from that point onwards, they will be able to possibly even win the map.
Imagine. Just imagine. That would be so wild. But we'll see. So far, Hellraisers, they have to first focus on, well, countering this deficit and building that up. Seeing if they can actually get it to the 11th round mark themselves and really come back. Now, we see a lot of chaos and quite an aggressive A-ramp push, but it is also quite successful, it seems. Oh dear, you look
I was shocked by that one. They were just running through. I was wondering like what Hellraisers was doing. Nobody was looking in the right direction. That's 3 kills coming in for the side of Nexus. It will be Kalinka with 1 in return. And they'll still have a molly as well, trying to commit on toward... Oh, that's a slightly failed one. As now there will be a molly coming in return from the side of Nexus. He goes out. Oh my god, Hellraisers. Yep. I think for Hellraiser's sake, we will forget this round.
Yeah,
it has never transpired.
No, but that was just nasty. Like the way they pushed onto that site as well, it just felt like Hellraiser was kind of standing there like, oh yeah.
They will never rush. They always play slow. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah, like
they're here.
They're just going to stay here, right? Problem now does come in. Imagine if he clutches this. Nope, doesn't happen. BTN denies it completely. Nexus win the round. And with that now, we can see how Nexus is getting on that 12th round. Hellraisers once again having that, well, 5-round deficit. And with that, I'm going to wonder, really. Hellraisers, you know, the clock is ticking. There are only 4 rounds remaining for Nexus to achieve, and then they'll have this second map. It'll be the good old reverse situation, you know? It'll be that classic, you win my map pick, well, I'll win your map pick. And then we'll just go to that decider, Inferno. And if there's a map I'd love to see as a decider, it is definitely Inferno. So I'm excited, you know? I am curious to see how this plays out. Lime does get the initial frag, but it goes down by Raga's hands. Refrag being solid. JR here from Yellow Tarp, he puts down some shots, but they don't really connect to anything.
There's such stupid plays coming out from Hellraisers. They're just not respecting the fact that Nexus can just move on and get some frags, as they're just moving in time and time again more aggressively than Hellraisers is actually able to deal with. The good thing is that for Hellraisers, Flarage will send out an emergency signal and get a flag of his own. And now we do have a 3-on-3 situation with no players actively contesting the B side. There will be 1 player already moving back. So that at least a little bit of division coming down from the Hellraiser side, waiting for the actual push to come in from Nexus to either A or B. Of course, they are waiting for Zemente to plant the seeds and see where they can actually go. He's moving, possibly for a flank on B, but they say, well, we have to bomb towards A. So if you could open that up, that would be huge. Just 1 kill to seal the deal as he does take down Flarage. And the last player is currently at Cement. It's going to be Kalinka standing by. Will they be able to spot him so far? No! He spots a bomb. He will get 1. He tries to go for a second. Now actually should be careful for both angles. BTN also peeking in with the molly as well. That will be most likely the round done and dusted. Roman is moving in and he will fall. The time was running out, so it was rather close and scary for Nexus, but they managed to win a round. And they managed to get closer to a map win. Yeah. RJ, are you believing?
I actually, right now, I am believing it, and I believe for a moment as well with that clock ticking down that, you know, it looks like there could be a solid chance for Problem to just delay and not allow them to get the plant, but the moment he got fragged, it was all, well, you know, lost and, yeah. Also, speaking of time, you know, you might have noticed that I just put the clock open. It's because about 1 minute ago, it turned into my mum's birthday. And
congratulations to not just you, but also your mom.
Yeah, that's
if she's watching, I don't know. Is she watching?
No, she's not watching. No, of course not.
Of course not. Even my parents sometimes watch.
I did send her a clip, but like just Twitch is, you know, that's really boomer.
It's too technical.
That doesn't not worth. But it is what it is. You know, this is also the 2nd year in a row that I've actually missed her birthday because I'm working.
Things happen.
I know.
It's okay. She gets stronger by it as BTN now takes a frag on towards Kalinka. It's the opener for Nexus once more, and 2 more frags come in. Make it a quad, and that's a clean-up duty. Nexus, baby, they're doing it 14-7. 2 more rounds, and they have enough money to rebuy if they lose 1.
We are actually going to go to Inferno now. I'm going to call it now. This is almost decisively in favor of Nexus now. They've performed very, very well now on the, honestly, with a solid CT side start and now just finishing it off on the T side. And Hellraisers, they just don't seem to be responding whenever Nexus gets onto that site, you know? They allow so many opportunities, so many openings, really. Oh, see another lovely little... Oh god, this... Oh, it frightens me so much.
I would mess it up 10 out of 10 times. And we see Iman now moving too little too late as he will go down. But Raga with refrag will bring it closer in towards, of course, once more that B side. Slowly but steadily they're moving in. And we're waiting for, of course, Nexus to move on towards a side. They are rotating off. Not really contesting B all that much anymore. But look at the utility already being used. Possibly even wasted by the side of Hellraisers. They only have just a little bit left. One smoke, one molly. So it will be BTN also trying to contest on towards mid. RJ, it seems to be happening. But of course we have to say, both teams have little utility. Only one incendiary, I believe, left on towards Lime, as it's going to be him pushing on towards that ramp. Spots a player. Smintze actually not expecting a CT player to move in close. And indeed, that incendiary will now be thrown towards the yellow tarp. Zello standing by, also having a molly of his own, but there's actually two players standing by right there. They might peek in soon, they will. Another kill coming in for Hellraisers. At least they will equalize the score a little bit more in towards their favor with a decently clean round. Only losing one member, now bringing it to 14-8, but still they're 6 rounds behind. And it's going to be Nexus buying in once more. Hoping to at least bring it to 15, at least have it overtime. And a very big chance of them winning the map as well. And that would be contrary to what I said before, because, well, I figured, well, 16-6 yesterday on Vertigo. Yeah. Easy win for Hellraisers. Nope.
No, absolutely not. This is clearly looking to be quite the challenge for Hellraisers, really. And oh, look, there's
La Multi-Ani.
La Multi-Ani.
For your mother.
The many years. Yes, that's nice to read. Ah,
you're fluent Romanian. You can really translate that.
Those, you know, honestly.
But that's easy.
Yeah, these Romanian fans are honestly just the best. Now let's see if Nexus might actually make this that second map coming in now in their advantage. They've got on the first frag. They've made the start. So all they have to do is just follow up now. It is 2 more rounds. They can also get Hellraiser's economy nice and low. And with that, we'll see if maybe, just maybe, Nexus actually gets this. They can push this to Inferno, I believe. A Hellraiser's reverse sweep, that would be too much. They can't do that.
No. Well, you never know with Hellraisers.
Knock on wood.
They are ruthless. As they still have some utility as well. A frag grenade could deal with BTN, no problem whatsoever, as there will be a molly on towards Flares. Just does a little sidestep. He's cool like that. As of course the fire is hot and burning. Player close by behind him. Molly will be flashing, and it will be, or should be, a frag in favor of Hellraisers. Indeed, JR will get it. Saving his teammate. The bomb will be planted, but Flares as well. The follow-up on towards Raga. Zello with the AWP will still be standing by at cement, and he will get a frag for his team to bring it into an equal number. And, well, we see some utility, but will we see it used effectively? BTN trying to hold off the flank. He'll be back later. But of course, he now knows they are rather safe, as now the flashes are coming in. Hellraiser is so going for the push. Image goes a little bit too aggressive. Flash will get the frag. And problem also on towards Zello, leaving only BTN alive. The player with just 5 HP. Is 5 HP enough? Well, he will go for the spray, but he will not succeed. Should have committed. As we do see problem actually getting the frag onto him. 14-9. Hellraisers getting closer and closer. But one thing I'm happy with, RJ.
Tell me.
Is that regardless of the outcome of this match, we will see our Romanian friends and fans,
absolutely,
of course, in the playoffs starting Wednesday.
Absolutely. That is going to be one hell of a thing to look forward to. Just, of course, the day before that, we'll have the... on Tuesday, we'll have that one match left between Team Heretics and, help me out here,
Windstrike.
Windstrike, indeed. To see who also gets on top of the playoffs there, who gets which seed. And yeah, then we'll start off with those on Wednesday, and that's obviously also going to be some very exciting CS.
Meantime, we saw Ima actually getting the opening frag on towards the side of Hellraisers, and that's a good start. It's a very good start for them at this moment in time, and let's see if they can actually continue that onward. It's going to be a slow round from Hellraisers, trying to not over-aggress after already losing that single player, not wanting to grant any weapons. Force going towards their opponents. There will be another tag coming down on towards JAR, but he will get a wallbang on towards Ime as well, who's already gotten that single frag and a Rack 9 in hand. He's going to move up and ooh, Lime getting a frag in return. He will be dinged, but he has dropped the bomb. That's a very big delay, but there will also be a kill from Problem on towards Semente. leaving only a few more players alive for Nexus, and with an opening frag, I started to believe. Now it's going to slow down a little bit, and we see Nexus struggle once more.
Yeah.
This could mean double digits for Hellraisers, and well, from that point onwards, what else will come?
Who knows? It could be anything. Let's see, though. Start off with them achieving those double digits first, and then we'll talk. I've seen some wonderful 1-deeks come in here from the side of Nexus, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do that again. They just have to show up. The plant is coming in now, at least. That's something in their favor. And you know, if they play around these angles well enough, Kalinka here tries to open it up. Problem could come as a surprise, though, from a ramp, but he is going to have to push out soon enough. Loses a shot, though. The spray down is real. A double kill there, even. A nice one, too. BTN here now down at Yellow Tarp, and they are going to commit to that plant. And by the looks of it, BTN already has decided, with one man left standing, and that man being me, I'm not going to bother anymore. Hellraisers, of course, do reach the double digits with this. And that is perhaps getting a bit dangerous for Nexus now. They're getting close to, well, closer and closer to catching up on them. 4 rounds away for Hellraisers. And Hellraisers also starting to, well, not yet really build up those reserves. And that is becoming a little bit obvious now. Luckily, they did survive with about 3 players. They should be able to buy around this, but it's still not ideal. It is still worrying if they'll have to last out 4 rounds. And for example, if they do take, let's say, 1 or 2 more critical rounds where they lose quite a lot of team members, and they do get the result, obviously, then it might be a very tough situation for them.
Just gonna repeat what I said before. Fani Romani sunt minunazi. Which is, Romanian fans are awesome.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah. No, they
Because,
really
well,
are.
they love you, we love them, and, well,
What's
I
not
hope
to
they
love?
love me as well, as we do see a great frag coming in from JR. However, 2 openings for Nexus, and they're already controlling that B side, rotating in with the bomb as well. And JR is now having to run a very, very long way to make this happen. Of course, they know they have no room or margin for error, and they're doubting. Should we go for a retake? Only if there's a player pushing, but so far there isn't. They're going for the save, playing for overtime, and that is always a risk.
It's the best that you can play for, but still, at the end of the day, it's not quite the result that you're really trying to force out. You know, it's better to just get it to that decisive win. And right now, I think Hellraisers also will have to admit to themselves they didn't think this would be that close. I think they were quite confident when they went into this, thinking, oh, we've done this before, we've got this. You know, we've beaten them on Vertigo, we've beaten them very convincingly on Vertigo. But clearly this time round, that does not seem to be, well, how do I put it? That's not really coming out to display, you know, that's not really showing.
No, but this also really shows how strong and how good Nexus is in learning from setbacks.
Absolutely.
Their first match against Hellraisers was a setback. Yet, there was a 16-6 now turned around in towards a 15-10 scoreline. Even if they would lose this in overtime, which of course we're not expecting, it would still mean they have learned so much in just one day. Playing against Hellraiser, which is, of course, a very strong team. Like with the opening kill towards him, we'll make it in towards the 5-on-4, and Siminton also being tagged up will make it a little bit harder for themselves to go on. That's also a problem, has to follow up. There is a decent chance that the Hellraisers will win this round as another frag comes in. And, well, that scares, of course, the players from the Nexus side, slowly going low on their reserves.
And that might be a problem for them, obviously. They need those reserves to be able to rebuy in the next round. Kalinka here taking a little stroll through Vertigo. And in the meantime, BTN gets fragged. Now Yellow here in a nasty position as well. Oh, from the grave. BTM gets that frag on Lime. And help me out here, was he that low HP? Did he get tagged by something beforehand?
Well, he was standing in the molly for a long time.
Yeah, but did he just like, he was just there, he just burned to a crisp?
He enjoyed the fire.
I suppose
sometimes you have to bring the heat.
Yeah, but it was, I suppose, worth the sacrifice for that BTN frag that he got beforehand.
Well, eventually, Nexus still having that match point, still having a very good buy, but as you can see, the reserves are now running out. Hellraisers having a decent buy with just a single AWP as well. Let's see what they can do for the rest of this match. Hellraisers moving in aggressive line. Will go in, will get a first frag. There's a player already moved past. Actually, 2 players from his back. There will be another one as well. He's not really taking it into account. Line will be refragged. If he could have taken that second player, Ime, coming from, of course, more of that T-spawn angle, there would be a chance, of course, for him to hold on towards the bomb for a little bit longer. As we're now waiting for more frags to chime in for Nexus. Bring home the map. Bring home the map. They just need one more round, RJ. But they lose one more player. Him going down to Kalinka as he tried to test out if there was something at B that they could take.
They've still got a solid chance, though. They've still got 4 solid chances. Even this round isn't necessarily lost just yet. Because they've got, okay, one-man disadvantage. And see, they're already opening up. Siminsei gets the frag here from the top of the site. Does now get shot right off Vertigo and going for a bit of a dive.
Never stop, never stopping.
Oh, no, absolutely not. He's going to end up on the ground somewhere. But now we'll see 2v3. No plan just yet. I can't immediately see where the bomb is. It's not in the hands of either players.
It's dropped to the right where actually their teammate was flown off the map. And Cello is the sole member against Free with 25 seconds on the clock. And he now does have that bomb. He does now still have more players to find. Problem with the last frag, that's actually a great double from himself. And now we see, of course, the players swapping around towards those AKs. 15-12, Hellraisers getting closer. And as we said, money running out on the Romanian side.
Yep, and that makes things a bit tougher, of course. Whilst I, of course, did say they had 4 more chances, that was counting in the current round. And now with 3 more left and a bit of a worse economy, that does make your chances a little, well, their chances a little bit worse. Look at this, you can see armor on IM. He's a bit of a raid boss, you could say, you know, with that upgraded pistol and armor. But oh dear, that's Flourish. That's a painful nade. That is so much damage dealt now, and Kalinka here might come in clutch in a moment. A lovely spray down from him. You can see his head. JR Kalinka. They finish them off. Kalinka goes in for that second dip. And now Siminsei is the last man left standing. Has a P250, doesn't expect to be dropped out here, and Lime frags him. Hellraisers now get the 13th round, and oh, it's supposed to go to Inferno. Nexus shouldn't let it get this close, but clearly they just live for the excitement.
Well, the more attention they bring in for their fans, the happier they are. More content, more viewer pleasure, right?
More better.
More better, indeed, as we do say in Dutch.
Yeah, it doesn't work that well in English, I'm afraid.
In Dutch it sounds cool.
Yeah.
As we're going to at least steal see that AWP from Zello, trying to bring it in once more against, of course, the AWP of JR. Aggression this time not really coming out from Nexus. Something I did like. Something Hellraisers didn't expect, and if they would have pushed through once more, they would have been able to at least get a frag on the player standing with his knife in his hand. So they just need to get that aggression back in towards their system. Yeah. Go for those wild plays, and they will be able to win. However, they had to do this round, because if they're doing that on a, well, mediocre force buy, which it could turn to be in the next.
If they lose, yes.
And without a bomb plant, it would be quite detrimental, because then you would expect it from Hellraisers. There will be some early counter utility to be thrown out. But still, we can't rule them out in this round. There's a very good chance for the side of Nexus. They are now still standing by there. And this time, going for a full B take. All players standing by. And will they be able to actually get the round in with now the smokes also being set up? They're slowly getting ready. And JR standing by with the AWP. Should be wary, of course, of this rafters areas. He's currently not spotting out a player. There will be angles to be found if he just looks long enough.
And we'll see now if the patience is good. Site control still very much in the hands of Hellraisers for now. And maybe, just maybe, Nexus could take this. It's a 4v4 now. Chances are in their favor. They are getting on top of the site. And oh, the Hellraisers players are close together. JR does get the frag though. BTN goes down. Lime here keeping his eyes towards mids, but there is a full Nexus presence on the bomb site. Problem now hopping in. Bomb is planted. There's a chance here. Hellraisers could either make this a little bit closer, but Raga there gets a good frag. 3v3 now. The bomb is ticking, and the time is also ticking for Nexus. JR pushes in here, but Cello frags him. Flourish and Lime, though, going for that double frag now.
But look at the time. The time is running out. Cello is standing by the AWP. He has to get some frags, but he doesn't know. The players are moving on towards his left. Sees one, gets one. But there's still one remaining. It's going to be Lime. No scoped! Zello with the last frag, 16-13, and indeed, we're going to overtime. And Nexus is making it work.
We're not going to Inferno. We're not going to overtime. We're going to Inferno. That's even better than overtime.
Yeah, indeed. It's just messing with your mind, don't worry.
It's okay, it's okay. Indeed, their Nexus get the upper hand. For a moment, it looked like it would be close, but it is Hellraisers now that sadly have to bite the dirt here, that have to give up on Vertigo. And, well, I guess bite the dirt, take a bit of a dive off the building.